sponsored by Game Time. It is the #1 app, my favorite app, and the app that I want you guys to get. It has so many great features, specialized in last-minute deals, and saves up to 60% when buying last-minute tickets for sports, concerts, comedy, theater. It don't matter. They have Game Time picks, making last-minute tickets buying easier than ever by quickly highlighting the best seats in the stadium. And there is so many events going on right now, whether it's concerts, baseball, Tigers, hockey, NBA. There's a lot going on right now. And the best part is Game Time. You can see the prices right there, right up front. You're not getting all this hidden fees at checkout. They also have the lowest prices guaranteed. You find tickets in that is cheaper in a different app or service. The same exact seat, same exact everything, same row. Game Time's going to credit you 110% of the difference. Go see the Tigers. Hey, look at this. $2 right now. You could go see them. That's a pretty good deal. Go see the Red Wings, the Pistons, concerts. It's all right there. Go to Detroit and have fun this summer. So get Game Time today and take the guesswork on buying tickets with Game Time. Create an app. You got to create an account. You got to have an email. Place in code CHATSPORTS, CHATSPORTS, to get $20 off your very first purchase. Again, go to the redeem code section, plug in Chat Sports. You get $20 off your first purchase. Terms would apply. You got to create all of that stuff. You got to have an email to save that money. So download Game Time today. It's last-minute tickets and lowest prices guaranteed. What up, folks, and welcome to the OnePride podcast. So we talk all things Detroit Lions news and rumors. We're focusing on the NFL Draft. Brad Holmes' press conference he did earlier today, and I finished my mock draft. That's why I was about 1 minute late. I literally recorded it right before I went live. Took forever. Finally got it done. That will debut on Monday, 10:30 in the morning. So get ready for my 7-round, my final mock draft. And I put all the information together that I feel like they got, and we're getting after it. So welcome everybody to the show here. Skyhawk, Lisa, Dern, 9 Drinks, Chrome, Kurt, my guy, Cy Gray, Survivalist, Amber, Chrome, Shift, Brent DeWitt, Lisa DeLorenzo, everybody in here say L.A. Night, yeah. Okay, here we go. Let's go ahead and get into the Brad Holmes press conference. He did his pre-draft press conference. If you ain't seen it, it's on YouTube or the Detroit Lions' own YouTube channel. You can hear it for himself. So we're going to go ahead and talk about that, takeaways from there. Like we all know, Brad Holmes is not going to be forced to take a player or a position. He talked about this. Everybody wants pass rush, including myself, but he's not forced to take a player with the 28th pick, and that's the way it should be. Let's keep it a buck. You don't just take a position or a player just because you need that position. You take the right player that fits your team, your scheme, everything. They're looking for a Detroit Lions type of players. That's exactly what they're going to do there. I still think they're going to draft an edge, right? Look, I did my final mock draft, and I'm going to tell you what position I took at the 28th pick, but it's going to be between offensive line and edge. I do believe that's kind of the route they're going to go because I think there's going to be some players available for them at the 28th pick. Now, we're hearing rumors, Mikael Williams, he's falling a little bit due to, his lackluster at the pro day of 4.75. People think they may be injured a little bit, lack of production with only 5 sacks. If he somehow falls, the Lions could do a situation where they get a player like that, or if they wanted to jump up a little bit. He talked about trades. We don't know what's going to happen. They could trade up, they could trade down, they can stay. That's exactly the same here. He talked about all the situations. He talked about how the Detroit Lions' depth is much better than it was when he came here, and so maybe he'll use some of his draft capital simply to target a player they like. If they wanted to move up, they've done it many times. It's very possible they do that. They've tried to trade up, he talked about, in other drafts, and it didn't work. So it takes 2 to tango. He's correct. And he's not going to sit there and just, I'm going to give up the world to get a player. He's not going to do that. He's going to do smart trades. He's not a moron. He's not getting blown out in these trades. So that's the way that it's going to be. He's drafting a wide receiver. He's made that clear, folks. It's happening. The Lions are going to draft a wide receiver, but with the caveat here, and I absolutely agree, he says there's a lot of depth at the wide receiver position, so that could be something that they could wait on. I don't think they're taking a wide receiver in the first 2 rounds for sure. I would look at round 3 or round 4 if they're wanting to take a wide receiver. The Dern says, Jihad Campbell falls to us. That's the hope. Now, just hearing about how Brad Holmes talked about pass rush. He didn't name like edge or linebacker. He just said pass rush. So if a Jihad Campbell was to fall, maybe they would look at him. Maybe they would look at him. It's possible. He's a player that could play multiple spots. We'll see. So I put him in the possible spot. Probable edge or offensive line. That's kind of the way that I would go right there. The way that we're seeing it. Talked about many things going into this draft, and I know he's getting tired of talking about the edge position, and he talked about how, each year is different. There's going to be positions that get savaged. And he's correct. Each year, right? We could have injuries at wide receiver this year. With that said, the Lions right now don't have great depth at edge. So it's not a situation where we got great depth right now. The Lions will address it. They'll get a pass rush. We just don't know exactly when it's going to happen. The Lions talked about interior defensive line. I do think that the Lions are going to draft an interior defensive lineman. It could be anywhere in the draft. It literally could be in round 1 to round 7 because they're looking to get better up front there. That was my takeaways for what he was talking about. He's not a guy that's going to BS you. That's the thing. He's not going to sit there and blow smoke or try to lie. He's generally speaking, he just tells you what he's going to do, all honesty. He really does. He's not going to tell you the player. He's not going to tell you, what position he's going to attack or anything like that. But he's telling you. He's not going to just draft a player. He's going to do for Lions guys, Dan Campbell type of guys, these type of players. So look for the players that are, they generally don't have issues. And they talked about Mike Green. And, there's no proof of right now what's going on. I just think that they're going to avoid him at this point. So I wouldn't expect the Lions to draft a Mike Green. We don't generally draft individuals with some sort of potential issues. Well, we released Cam Sutton because what he did, right? So I don't see the Lions going in that route. You're going to find individuals that who fit Dan Campbell. And they could absolutely, Schiff says, they could trade back 110%. Every option is on the table. He said he has not received any phone calls so far about trades. I wouldn't expect it with the 28th pick. If we had a top 10 pick, that's different. But there's going to be teams that's going to want to trade them into the first round to get that quarterback like a dart. Okay, you got the Giants. You got the Cleveland Browns. I 100% believe if the Lions have players that are slipping, and maybe they have a second-round grade on them, they could absolutely trade back just as much as trading up front. Because there's some great players that are going to be in the second round. When I was going through all the pass rushers, the linemen, and there is going to be some dogs that's going to be in the second round. So if they wanted to pick up maybe an extra second-round pick, some more picks, they could do that. The option is on the table for the Lions. They can trade up, they can trade back, they can stay. So in my mock draft, I just say right now, I didn't do a trade because it's difficult. But they legitimately could do all of that. And we got to, when it comes to the draft, I do trust Brad Holmes a lot. He took some project players. He talked about Giovanni Manu today. And I do think in a draft, you can draft a project player. Right? If they wanted to draft another project player, I actually don't have a problem doing that because our depth is really good if they see the potential. But one of those guys throughout a draft, okay, but you don't want to do too many. But the Lions absolutely could do another developmental player. This draft is filled with a ton of running backs, a lot of running backs. Now, we got great depth there, Sione Vaki, Craig Reynolds, and obviously Sonic and Knuckles, but maybe they wanted to get a little bit of depth there. That could be undrafted rookies as well. There's a lot going on right now. He says this, my guy, Cy Gray, says the strength of the draft is 100% rounds 2 and 4, and it is. There's a ton of linemen, defensive linemen, wide receiver, pass rush. There's great depth there. There's great depth. And the Lions 100% could go that route. And, I wouldn't be upset either way. It just depends who's there. We don't know how the draft is going to formulate. Brad Holmes doesn't know what majority of these other general managers are going to do. It's a crapshoot sometimes. And it just depends how the draft falls out. Does a player slip? All of that. Does that occur? And that's what we're all going to be waiting for. We're all going to be waiting for that to see what happens. If you got questions, throw it in the comment section here. It's all about the draft. The draft is less than a week. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you're watching this right now and or after the fact. Subscribe. We're going to be live for the draft. I'm actually doing my draft graphics as soon as I am done with this stream. So I'll be getting ready to have that up for you guys so you know who is going on. You're going to hear the audio of the draft, and you're going to hear me talking about it. And then as soon as the Lions draft a player, we're going to break down that drafted player. Every single player is going to have a video about the prospect, right? We're going to be talking about the good, bad, and the ugly of the prospects, why they drafted him, what it means for those players, and what it means for the players currently on the roster, right? So if you draft a player, potentially means the end of another player. There's been a lot of rumors going around where we're going to be trading Amon-Ra Robertson. We're going to be trading Jameson Williams. I don't believe these rumors at all. I think they're BS. I think they're dumb. Why the hell would you trade Jameson Williams after we developed him? He put up 1,000 yards last year. Oh, now we're going to trade him. That just doesn't make sense. That would be a mistake for a rookie wide receiver, so you could take years to develop him. And Amon-Ra Robertson, you can't have enough cornerbacks. We have a great depth at cornerback. We've seen the savagery that's happened through an NFL season with injuries. These guys go down. Why on God's green earth would the Lions trade away Amon-Ra Robertson to basically cut their own legs? This team right now is a top 3 roster in the NFL. Don't destroy that. Are you willing to trade JMO straight up for a top 15 pick? No, not. No, I'm not. Jameson Williams opens up this offense. Whether people like it or not, I am not willing to do that. He is a big piece of this offense. He makes it to where everything else opens up. And I want this offense. We lost Ben Johnson. I want this offense still be darn good. We need to have Jameson Williams here. So, no, I'm not willing to do that. He is a cheap wide receiver. The Lions, I'm sure, will pick up this 5th-year option. But this is not the time to trade Jameson Williams. It's a dumb idea. Why not trade up for Travis Hunter? We need a wide receiver cornerback, so it seems like worth draft capital. Maybe someone like Brock Wright or Hendon Hooker. Well, Travis Hunter is going to be probably a top 3 draft pick, and there's no way in God's green earth the Lions are going to go trade up to the top 3 draft pick. If they're going to do that, you go Abdul Carter or something like that, but I don't see that at all. We're at pick 28. You would have to give up the world to go to the number 3 pick that high. And then you're talking about a team would have to go from 3 all the way back to 28. It's not happening. It's not happening. Giants get number 28. Lions get 34 for Kayvon Thibodeau. Thoughts? Giants get 28. Lions get 34 and Kayvon Thibodeau. Boy, if they did that, that would be a great trade. I would do that in a heartbeat, Dern. You're talking about you're just moving back, 6 spots, and you're getting a pass rusher. Then you could probably go ahead and get a lineman. Oh, hell yeah. I would do that in a heartbeat. Take Kayvon Thibodeau mixed in with Aiden Hutchinson. That would be a devastating duo, and it'd be a cheap. He's still, right? You would have to eventually give him a long-term deal. I don't know they would do that, right? But, I mean, that would be a killer. I don't see that happening. Giants re-sign Smith and draft an edge. Yeah, like I said, he was at the Pistons game. Brad Holmes didn't talk to them, and I told you guys I will not look into him being at a Pistons game because nothing's going to happen until after the draft. But they could re-sign him. We do need 2 edges, and I think that the Lions probably do re-sign him after the draft. Once, everything settles down, that's probably the scenario, and then they draft a guy within the first 2 picks of a pass rusher. Yeah. If they're trading JMO, highly doubt it, then they need first plus more in return. I don't see them doing this. I think that would be a mistake. 100% be a mistake to trade Jameson Williams. Look, a rookie wide receiver is not going to come in here and do what he can do right now. It's a fact. It's an absolute fact. So we need to have Jameson Williams on the field now. We can get a wide receiver in the 3rd or 4th round. We don't need to go up there and do something crazy. Just keep what we got going on and develop our players whom we draft. Remember, Derek Barnes, 3rd round pick, or was he a 4th round pick, developed into a starter. St. Brown, 4th round pick, developed into one of the best receivers in the NFL. There's receivers out there that they can get that if you're like, you know what, we don't want Jameson Williams to be re-signed, we'll just play out his contract. They could do that, or they just develop a guy, but you don't need to go up and trade away Jameson Williams to get another receiver. It just doesn't make a lot of sense. Hey, Mike, I kind of like the idea of drafting a defensive tackle like Derek Harmon because of the limited availability of defensive tackle, because of the wider variety of them like Jack Sawyer and somebody else. Look, Derek Harmon is I was debating on putting him in the draft at the 28th pick. I would just say I didn't go that route, but look, you look at Lee McNeil's injury. We don't know the extent of how long it's going to be. I think about the first half of the season. Broderick Martin, probably not making the team. He has not developed yet. You look at DJ Reader. This could be the last year of his deal, so they could go that route. Ultimately, I decided not to. It wouldn't shock me. Pat Bryant, Isaac Tesla, and Donton Thornton. Yeah, there's some good receivers out there. Harmon has to work at finishing his tackle. That's my concern with him. But you got to understand that there's not, when you're picking at 28, there's going to be developed. It's not going to be a great prospect. It's not going to come out here and be Aiden Hutchinson. You know, generally speaking, maybe it's possible, right? But the odds are it's not going to be that great. You won't last in a Lions defense if you can't finish tackles. I'm sorry. Yep, that is absolutely facts, and there's nothing to be sorry about that, my friend. 100%. Do you think that Jack Sawyer is available at pick 60? Yeah, I do. I think he's going to be available at pick 60. Will the Lions do that? Look, if they go edge, I don't think they go Sawyer in the second. If they go lineman, if they go offensive line, then look at it, right? They like Josiah Stewart a lot out of Michigan. A lot. He is a 3rd-round prospect. So you can look at that too. More of a linebacker, a little bit smaller, right? 245. Maybe he'd play that like a Derek Barnes type of role. They like those type of players. So, but yeah, I mean it's possible. They could go many different ways, but if they do re-sign Za'Darius, it will have a pick basically, or they pick another pivotal position. I don't think the Lions drafting an edge has anything to do with a Za'Darius Smith. I think they would do both. The Lions really need depth there. If you look at the depth right now, it's butt cheeks. It really is not that good. So you could see a situation where they absolutely draft a edge and pick up a Za'Darius Smith. I mean, I literally made a video yesterday about the Lions' depth. I went through each positional group, and if you look at edge, it's pretty cheeks right now. So right now you got Aiden Hutchinson. You have the Joshua Pascal, Marcus Davenport, and Al-Qadim Mohammed. Okay, that is bad, right? So Marcus Davenport, you can't rely on him. Al-Qadim Mohammed, I actually like what he did. I think he makes the team, but as our starter, I don't think that's the case. So you could see a situation where they go ahead and, bring him in there. Makai Wingo, we drafted him last year, still a little bit injured, more of that defensive tackle, but yeah, they could do both. I am a big no on Jack Sawyer's athleticism is not good. He is a 4th rounder. Later grading, signs Za'Darius Smith, find defensive ends in round 1 and 2. I have zero problem with going that route, but I tell you what, Sawyer is a Campbell type of guy. Josiah Stewart would be a pick to 60 because he's 102 will be gone. I don't necessarily. I think he could be I think he's between 2 and 3. That's the spot where I'd have him. We don't know exactly how this draft is going to go. So I'm not going to say he's going to be there or not. I mean, it's possible. In my mock draft, you'll see, but it's not guaranteed at all. It's not guaranteed. It's hard. Sometimes every team's got different big boards, so that's why you see players drop, and you're like, that doesn't make sense because other teams value prospects a little bit differently. There's a lot of teams that literally took Mike Green off their board. Just it doesn't matter, right? So, I mean, you're going to see situations like that. What is the max return on trading out of the first round? It's not good. Well, it depends where you trade back. If you're going just a couple picks, it's not going to be that much. If you're going all the way to the end of the second round, maybe you pick up a first-round pick in next year's draft, right? Or a second-round pick plus. But if you're going back like six spots, maybe pick up like a fourth-round pick or something like that. Nothing giant. Nothing giant. Broderick Martin, I can do without. Let's trade him for Trey Hendrickson. That would be the biggest steal of a trade of all time. That would be epic. That's not going to happen at all. I do not believe Trey Hendrickson's becoming a Detroit Lion. It seems very clear that Brad Holmes is not going to go that route. Said, man, Jihad Campbell, if they're 28, might be the pick. Daniel Jeremiah has him as a top 15 prospect. Yeah, he is. Look, you have mocks where Jihad Campbell is going between 12 and 18, right? But again, we've talked about players falling, and he's a guy that's kind of in between. Maybe there's teams that just they don't want that type of player. So, man, we don't know. That's what's so great about the draft. You just don't know, and you have to have your big board on there. I'm sure he's on their board. They've spoke with him. He has done a 30 visit. Again, though, we did pick up Derek Barnes, so I think that is a little bit less. But if you look at next year, Alex Anzalone, free agent. Malcolm Rodriguez, free agent. So they could do it. They could, right? They've picked up Jack Campbell in the draft when a lot of people, and I love Jack Campbell. I had him as a second-round pick, but I didn't care. I like Jack Campbell in the first round because I liked him. Again, they may draft a player who is a little bit early in a lot of people, or we get lucky like a Brian Branch falls. Zabel too, man. Zabel is on there. I'm telling you, I would absolutely not be shocked if they go offensive line. I went 50-50 with this pick at 28. I debated what to do. Literally 50-50. That's how I'm going with it. And Zabel is 100% a target. He is. Same with Booker. Linemen in general could be. Let's see. Some of these radical trade ideas are just stupid. We have no idea what Brad has planned. We don't know what's going on in the draft. So people want to trade JMO, get real. I don't see it all. Jameson Williams getting traded. I think that's unrealistic. It's crazy. I don't think that Amik's getting traded. I didn't think Taylor Decker was getting traded a couple years ago. By the way, hey, huge shout out to Taylor Decker. He joined Lions Nation Unite. The real Taylor Decker. I had to approve it. I was absolutely shocked. So I want to DM Taylor Decker because now I have the ability to do so. See if he'll come on the podcast. Really, really cool. It is the real Taylor Decker. He has 850,000 followers, and he's only following 4, including Lions Nation Unite. So we definitely got to get him on the pod. I just feel weird DMing a player like that. But, hey, guys, want to get on? So maybe I'll just do it a professional. Or if he's watching this, hey, I appreciate you, bro. That was pretty cool. And when I met you at training camp, you laughed your tail off when you seen it was me and laughed and started laughing because of my name. So that is crazy. So maybe we get him on the show. That would be epic. But, yeah, I don't see any crazy trade like that that's taking place at all. Trades in the draft up and down. It's going to happen throughout we are going to trade in the draft. We'll go up and down the draft. That's it. Zane is probably gone at Seattle. Seattle right now they're going to go BPA. It looks like they're doing an absolute and utter rebuild. So they're going to do BPAs. They could, 100%. That team has got no talent. They traded away everybody. They could be a top 5 draft pick, man. They're up there with the Giants of butt cheeks this year. So they could go anyway. We'll see. He says, I'm a huge fan of Campbell, such a talented player, plus from Alabama. Yes, he does love Alabama prospects. And he loves Alabama. And unfortunately, I don't know, but you'll see my mock draft, but we'll see. But he does like. He says, Jihad Campbell is a Micah Parsons light. He's elite. It's compared to Micah Parsons. Abdul Carter is a great comparison to Micah Parsons right now. But see, here's the problem. Could Jihad Campbell be an Isaiah Simmons, right? Like a player that you don't really know. Everyone was high on Isaiah Simmons, and now he's just like barely making rosters here. So, but if the Lions feel they can utilize him in this defense, if we're doing a 3-4, if they feel like they need to have that type of skill set, then do it. As long as our wagon is hitched to Goff, offensive line is needed. Yeah, they're drafting offensive line, folks. I think it's within the first 2 picks. That's my. It's not a bold prediction, but I predict offensive line will be taken in the first 2 picks. I don't know what pick. That is my prediction. This is what I predict. They're going to go offensive line with the first 2 picks. In the first 4 picks, they'll go wide receiver. They're going to draft a safety in this draft. They may draft a couple pass rushers, whether it be labeled a linebacker or edge. They could go defensive tackle as well. I don't see them going quarterback. Maybe they could do a late flyer on a tight end or something of that nature, or running back. But I'm not seeing what some of the people are calling for. Dr. Troy, what's up, man? Appreciate you in here. Love about Dr. D. The way that I see it, there's levels of 8, maybe 10 players, level 1, and about 80 to 10 or to 100, level 2, moving back, could getting more quality. Yeah, 100%. Absolutely. They could. There is a ton of players that's available in rounds 2, 3, and 4 that could really help this team up. Very possible. I'm going 33% on staying, trading up and down. That is, they can go any different direction. Would you take Pat Bryant or Savion Williams at wide receiver? Craig Hogg. You got to check out my mock draft on Monday at 10:30. One of those guys is in my mock draft. There you go. Let's see here. We got a super chat from Funny. We got Funny Boy Road. Thank you for that $4.99 super chat by Funny Boy Rody. Says Jordan Addison better than J-Mo, though. Yeah, I'm not going to go. What? Jamison Williams, he's getting better, and better. I would trust Jamison Williams over Addison right now, even though Addison is a good wide receiver. I'm not going to dog him over there from the Vikings. But Jamison Williams, he's really getting good. Now, if he could just control his in-game anger and not do stupid 15-yard penalties, I am solid. But Jamison Williams is a game changer right now. He is a game changer. And best believe that play-action pass is going to continue. He's going to get over 1,000 yards this year. He's developing into a really solid receiver for the Lions. You know, you're 1A, 1B type of thing. Right now you got he's 1B with St. Brown, but he's a damn good receiver. He goes, I don't see his trade back because I don't see anybody following the teams that are interested in trading up for, but who knows? Yeah, there's players you want to watch for. Mike Green, I don't think the Lions would trade him at all, but there's a situation where he could fall. I just don't see the Lions doing that. Jihad Campbell could fall because of the situation there. Trading back, if a team wanted to get a quarterback, that would be enticing to the Lions. That could be a situation where they trade back, right? If a team wants to get that fifth-year option for a quarterback, Dart, that's kind of where he's projecting to be at around this area, the teams will do it. So I can see a situation where it occurs. I like James Pierce, too. I like James Pierce. My prediction, though, James Pierce goes 27 to the Ravens. I look at him. I see Baltimore Ravens on there. Or, they could go safety, too, even though they got a hell of a great safety group over there. The Ravens are a team that scares me a little bit with some of these pass rushers because I can absolutely see them. So if the Lions, if they really like a James Pierce, I think they would have to trade up. Just a couple spots. You wouldn't have to do much. He absolutely, in my opinion, could be a guy that goes to the Ravens. Chiefs team, I think, can trade back with. Yeah, well, I don't know. They generally stay, too. You know, the Chiefs are a fundamental team. They don't need a quarterback, obviously. Maybe if they wanted to get a player or something. I don't think Mike Green is on the Lions draft board. I think he's off the draft board. I think the issues is completely off the Lions draft board, so I wouldn't expect the Lions to take him. James Pierce, 100% on the draft board. He's visited the Lions and spoke to them at the Combine. He is. I just have afraid if the Lions want to get him, they may have to trade up. Would you mad if they picked up Jalen Milroy in round 2? Yeah, I would be pissed. Why? We have, ever since that the Brad Holmes has been here, we've had 2 quarterbacks on the roster. Why in God's green earth would you take a quarterback when you do not need one at all? We have Hendon Hooker right now. We got Allen who's competing. That would be a freaking mistake. No, do not take a quarterback. It's just not a smart idea. We have legit needs on this team. Offensive line and pass rusher, linebacker, safety. You could go in many different routes. Quarterback is not a route the Lions need to go. What people need to understand is J-Mo is 50 to 60 yard a game player, so saying a monster contract for production doesn't make sense. Yeah, as of right now. Every year he has gotten better, and better. This is the year he can really put up legit numbers. And then they have the idea, should we do the 5th-year option or should we extend him? They have both of those things in place. You can have Jameson Williams for 2 more years, even if you didn't want to. So trading him now doesn't really make sense. You don't have, say their idea is, because I don't know, but say Brad Holmes is thinking, you know what, we're not going to have Jameson Williams for the long term. Why would you trade him right now? You still have him on a rookie contract who is an ass kicker on offense. We need that player. So it doesn't make sense to trade him. He has developed. His route running is now really crisp. He is catching balls. He doesn't drop anything. And the only issue with Jameson Williams is the immaturity level. And it's not like he's a guy that's beating up women or anything. He's just got a lack of maturity that maybe he gets better this year. So I think it would be an awful idea, and I do not see the Lions doing this. It is cutting your leg off. This team is, if we were to trade Jameson Williams, say we get Matthew Golden, right? They trade Jameson Williams, we move up a couple picks, whatever it is, or we get a 2nd-round pick, or we get a Matthew Golden. That's the replacement. Does anyone think here that he could replace Jameson Williams this year's production? No way. Not as a rookie. I don't see that. I don't see that as a rookie. I mean, it would take a couple years. He could, maybe. But we're trying to win now and going forward. If you trade Jameson Williams right now, you have literally just cut your leg off. And that's a dumb idea. Because you're talking about then having a rookie wide receiver, St. Brown, and Tim Patrick and Khalif Raymond. Khalif Raymond has been injured, right? He's getting older. Tim Patrick is going to be 31. Do you want to rely him basically? I don't see that's happening. I just don't see it. Oh, yeah, Dr. Joyce saying not trade him now. Yeah, 100% agree. If they wanted to do that, say if they wanted to do that in next year, then I could see that situation, right? I could see that 100% of the situation for next year. This year, I just don't see it. I'm with you there. 28, no way about it. Yeah, I know. I elevated moves, Raw podcast, Raw Detroit. I'm with you. Let's see. We're going to have to make tough decisions soon. That's just how they do business. Works can't keep anybody. They do make business decisions. But when do they have to? What do they have to do a business decision right now? We got $48 million in cap space. $48 million in cap space at this moment. So you don't need to trade Amik Robertson. You don't need to trade Jameson Williams. He's on his rookie deal. Okay, it's a cheap deal right now. It's really cheap. They don't have to do anything. They can actually, and I think they're going to do it, give Kirby Joseph a massive contract here relatively soon. I think you have it before the NFL season starts. They're thinking about Aiden Hutchinson. But they don't have to make a rash decision right now. That could be next year. That doesn't have to be this year. It's just, if you want to get rid of Jameson Williams, I don't really understand it. We do not win 15 games without J-Mo. Don't do it. He made some big plays last year. Big-time plays for the Lions. He made plays that That fourth down catch that resulted in a first down against the Minnesota Vikings. Jared Goff throwing on his bat foot and he catches. And he blocks. Jameson Williams blocks too. I don't get it. Oh, Hutchinson's getting paid big time. He's going to get a massive deal. It's going to happen. Anybody thinks that, no, James, he's going to be here for the long haul. I'm not worried about it. It's a matter of time when they do it. Only the thing that they're doing is checking his temperature with his off-the-field antics. I don't even know if it's really too much off-the-field antics anymore. Like the gambling thing was, come on, man, that's the stupidest thing ever. But what irritated me with Jameson last year is the 15-yard penalties. That's what made me. It's on the field, right? The 15-yard penalties. You got to stop. Players on other teams see that you got a little bit of a temperature there, and they're going to push your limits in field, and you got to be able to control your anger. You got to be able to control yourself. That's what players are going to do. They see it. They're going to poke at him. They're going to call him names. They're going to call him soft. They're going to call him all these things in the world. They're going to push on him a little bit late. Just have self-control. Understand that what these guys are going to doing. If he comes out and has a great season, and he does great, and there's no issues with Jameson Williams, they absolutely could extend him. So don't think that it's just an idea that they're just going to throw him away. They literally traded up in the draft to get him because they like him. They don't do that if they are not giving him chances. So this year's probably Jameson Williams' prove-it year, to be honest with you. If he still has off-the-field issues, he's still being a little immature on the field, yeah, I could see a situation. But if he comes out and he's quiet with the on the field and off the field stuff, and he goes out and blows out, he could be getting an extension. If JMO KC or Buffalo or Cincinnati, he's a Hall of Fame player. He'll always be second option. I don't know. I love St. Brown, but don't know if he'd be the second option. I think it's a situation where it's like the Cincinnati Bengals and the Minnesota Vikings. You're seeing a lot of NFL now having basically two number one wide receivers, right? You got over there in Cincinnati, they got two number one wide receivers. You go over to the Vikings, and look, I think Addison and Jefferson, they're both kind of those, in that range too. Obviously Jefferson is, but you're seeing a lot of the NFL now, they're having really big players, 1 and 2. So I'm not necessarily on that, but look, if the Lions wanted to trade him to a team that needs a wide receiver, the Panthers or whatever, next year, it's not going to happen this year. I give that a 0.0000% chance. Man, but that's years down the road, and we don't even know what's going to happen this year, so it's hard to speculate. Can't let Mahomes get him. That would be an absolute. Look, it would be bad for the AFC, but if that's an option, you go to the AFC. You don't go to the NFC. You don't have to do anything with Jama right now. I know. Don't have to do zero with him. And like I said, when these rumors came out and speculation from the internet, I threw it down saying I don't believe it. I think to be 100% clear with you, this is what I think about the Jameson Williams and Amik Robertson stuff. I think it's for clicks and views. I think there's not a lot of information coming out right now, right? Brad Holmes is so controlled about letting any draft rumors or trades or anything like that come out, and people just want to kind of have something to talk about. That's my honest opinion. What is your top 5 possible picks in the first round, factoring the availability? Okay, factoring in the availability and where the Lions sit at 28. So that's the route I'm going to go. There's a player I do think is falling. Mikael Williams. I'm starting to believe it. Now, if he's there, he's an option. Gray Zabel, 100%. He is there. The Lions could look at him. Booker from Alabama. If he is there, the Lions could absolutely look at him. Right? Jihad Campbell. We don't know if he slides. We don't know where he's going to be. I'm really interested to see where he goes in the draft. Very, very interested where Campbell goes. He potentially could be there for Detroit. And I do like Iziriku as well. And I think he's right there. James Stewart. It's Pierce. I don't know if he's going to be there, but it's just hard. It's because you don't know where they're going to slide, but I think those are the players that's in that range. One of them will be there at 28. I do believe one of those guys would be there, and they liked them all. They've literally visited all the names that we've talked about. The Lions have had a 30 visit. They've met at a combine, or if they've done a Zoom visit with these guys. So it's not out of the realm of possibility one of those is a Detroit Lion. I see the Rams drafting Campbell. Where did Rams pick? Is it like 25, 26, a little bit ahead of Detroit? Yeah, they could do that. They could go quarterback. That's a team you could do quarterback right now. You say, no way, they got Matthew Stafford. They could do quarterback. They could, they're a team that's always in that building spot. Are there any trade rumors you see that are possibly credible? No. No, I don't see any trade rumors that are credible right now, to be honest with you. The Trey Hendrickson, I think, is a farce. The Jameson Williams, I think, is a farce. And Amik Robertson, I think, is a farce. There's no trade rumors in the draft right now. Brad Holmes have not had called the 28th pick. He'll get calls as the draft goes on. We don't know trade discussions. I'm sure he's talked about trading up. There is no legit rumor on that. We just know that they are looking to trade up. I'm sure they've talked to teams trading up and down. So that's the rumors I got going on with that. You guys are going to be saying that it's not all the Lions. J-Mo may need a deep ball gunslinger for a quarterback. He might not want to stay based in the style. He plays like Debo. Like, if he doesn't want to stay, if he wants to get quirky with his agents, the Lions, they're not going to play that game too well. I don't know if he'll do that. The Lions won't play that game. It's too fast to type him, but great minds think alike, my friend. He says, the dirt, getting all that love in there. All right, folks, I've been on for close to an hour here. I got to actually work on my draft graphics right now, so I'm going to jump off this bad boy. Appreciate everybody hanging out. Subscribe to the channel with that.